We're here with Oliver Ackermann at his practice studio and recording space, Death by Audio. I'm going to ask him a few questions, and this is exclusively for Dave Cromwell Writes at blogspot.com, which is an amazing blog, and everyone should check it out.
And a lot of my days, it is just kind of the control room for, where we record a lot of stuff, and we'll record it, go into that room, and we have cables that run through the wall.
Well, I recognize this guitar from the show.
That was in the show.
Yeah.
There was another one somewhere around here from the show, and always got lots of guitars, so that if you're mid-tour and you stop by New York and all your guitars are broken, you can grab a couple more.
Perfect.
So it's always good. Inside here is our sort of our practice space, where we practice, and then it's also like the live room or whatever for recording. If you want kind of like a dead sound, which is good for recording a lot of stuff, but maybe not everything. Sometimes we'll bring drums out into the kitchen area and record some drums, or out in some back hallway or wherever we think sounds good. But it's good to have it dampened here for practice, because then it doesn't damage your hearing as badly. And
do you play it really loud in here,
yeah,
or do you
sure,
try to keep it down?
We get crazy.
This thing is pretty 70s.
Yeah, exactly. It's all sound blankets. You can see it's all like stolen from like film crew things and stuff. It's like Kittens and Expendables, which is a company in New York which supplies stuff to to make the movies. And so my friend used to work driving a truck for doing like video shoots and stuff. So we would always take like a blanket or two every day for I guess like a month or something like that. And then we got all the sound blankets.
Excellent.
Yeah, and it's all free carpet we found, and from dumpsters of carpet places and stuff like that.
Well, this is gonna, I don't know, this may destroy your image as the rich rock star.
We're not rich, yeah, exactly. I mean, I spend all my money on, equipment or components to build things that I think would be cool, or experimenting with new technologies and all sorts of stuff like that. So, we don't live fancy. We just have enough money to eat, and then the rest is on
What you do.
homeschool or whatever. Where we build all the effects pedals.
So this is like the heart of Death by Audio.
To some degree, yeah. I mean, this is like at least the heart of where Death by Audio started. It's like all this stuff used to be in a room where you could see on the line on the floor where the wall was. Just as of like about a month ago, all the stuff in this entire room was inside this room, where it was a wall right here, and everything was in there. And then we just recently built this place in the past month, where we expanded to kind of just have the whole open area. And if you want to see how dope I'm living, cool.
I was here for the Death by Audio show 2
good.
weeks ago, and that was a ridiculous night.
Yeah.
It was completely off the hook, as they say. I wanted to ask you about that.
All right.
When you're on stage and you see like everyone just like going nuts, does that charge you up?
Of course,
do you feel
definitely.
that?
It's so much better when that's the kind of thing that's going on. Even when the crowd is like right there, and like, people would think maybe that it's like it could be a bad thing if like someone bumps you or whatever. But that stuff just is more exciting. Or when things kind of start to go wrong and fall apart, and the kids are having a good time, that is the greatest feeling. Yeah.
Because there was a slight midpoint where you had technical problems where the power went out. What exactly happened?
I guess we blew the power to the main breaker for what almost everything was plugged into. There was still an outlet on the back wall which had like some things.
The lights were still on.
Yeah,
like
which
those
had the lights
pink
plugged
lights
into.
were still on. Yeah.
And so that we had plugged into this back wall with like a smoke machine, and so at some point I then diverted our power to that for a little bit. So we kind of started up, but it still wasn't really kind of going on until they actually like ran. My friend Jay Heiselman ran power from like down the hall.
Right.
But it's good we could do that. It's our house, so you just opened the door and ran 150 feet of extension cord or something to another outlet somewhere.
Very cool.
But it would have been bad if we had not gotten the power back on.
Right.
And that
Because
would have not been fun. But
how many songs were you into the set at that point?
Many, like 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah.
Maybe 5. I'm not exactly sure.
I have the set list right here.
Oh wow! Look at that. It's amazing.
what point did that
Oh
happen?
shoot, I don't
Probably,
know.
it had to be only about 4 songs.
Yeah,
in,
I think it was
yeah.
probably like the 4th song
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was it definitely because I think we started back up with the 5th song.
Right, right.
And we don't.
But when you, I mean, up to that point it had been great, and then when you, it seemed like when you came back that it really went up another level as far as like just, well, I mean, it's
I mean, we tried to
it's
bring it. You know, it's like you're aware of those situations, and so it's like when kind of things have gone wrong. You know, you kind of, you know, we have even lots of parts of our songs and sets which are just kind of made up on the fly, and I think that that kind of even adds to the energy. So, you know, we'll always kind of like switch. You know, I switched a bunch of different things around as well as I think Dion did, and you know, sometimes you're like, I hope this works out to our advantage. And you know, there were even I was having technical difficulties as soon as we started back on, and then kind of alleviating the situation with, you know, changing something else around, and then, you know, it's good to kind of keep everything fresh. I always think, and like.
That kind of leads me to one thought I had, which is, you know, when you play a lot and you play every night, night after night, you know, how do you keep it from becoming boring or like a regular job?
I mean, I always say it's always a good idea to, like, you know, the other members of the band will maybe laugh at this, but like throw a wrench in, you know, in the system or something. So it's just kind of, you sort of have to let go and, you know, try new stuff all the time and always have the option to be able to change what's kind of going on and really be there, like listening to what's going on, to where, you know, you don't know exactly what's going to happen and you kind of feed off of that and go with it. So not necessarily even always like structures of songs. Sometimes those are totally set. I mean, there's also even lots of parts where we'll just kind of like make up whatever you want. But, you know, otherwise it just gets so boring. And we, you know, I try to make it a thing where, you know, we don't write our set lists except for maybe like about 10 or 15 minutes before we play. And then that makes it so you can kind of, you know, base what you write your set list on many factors, like what you think would be a good show at this venue for what's going on. What do you think would make this night really cool? What songs does someone want to play in particular? Or
You personalize it to that moment.
I think so. You know, and you know, that's sort of makes it make more sense. You know, I think we have, you know, a lot of songs which are kind of very different and stuff, and so it's kind of, you know, you could kind of like really play the night so many different ways or something.